Am I audible? Am I audible to all? Okay, so welcome to our To The Point series. Just tell me that I am audible or not properly. Okay, we are starting with the subject called polity. As we all know, polity is very important, even it is for UPSC, MPSC, or for that matter, SSC, CGL, and banking exams as well. Just movement. Yeah. So, talking about preamble as a first, if we talk about polity as a subject itself, it becomes very important to understand the things. So we are starting in a manner that we will revise it in such a way that it will be helpful for you as well. Okay, just a moment. Yeah. Whenever we listen or hear a word constitution, or for that matter polity, we always talk about Dr. Baba Sahib Ambedkar's insight. So what he says that political democracy cannot last without social democracy. Right? Yeah. Political democracy cannot last without social democracy, and therefore the very beautiful quoting of the Constitution says that liberty, equality, and fraternity are like three pillars. And now why these are three pillars? Because if any of this is collapsed or gets weakened, our democracy will definitely collapse. So I have two best examples I have listed here. If you will see, when liberty, equality, and fraternity, these three things are together. Okay, now when we talk about liberty, equality, fraternity, sovereignty, socialist, all these words are important. And when we also talk about the definition, Constitution has already given a very good definition, and we will learn through it. So when these three things are existing, we have free express of opinions, we have right to choose religion, and also we can criticize government policies. Agar liberty nahi hoga, so definitely you are not able to criticize anyone, right? And if you have equality, it means you have equal opportunity irrespective of your religion, irrespective of your caste. You are able to take participation in political rights, in voting, irrespective of gender. You are also able to get your opportunity before the law. When we talk about the fraternity, people celebrate festivals together and help each other in times of crisis. Okay, now when we talk about fraternity, is about the bhaichara or the bonding between the different types of gender, traditions, different types of cultures. So fraternity is not only about the gender, it is about the equality or the status which we give to each other in terms of integrity. Okay, so in terms of crisis, so when I talk about crisis, I will give you a very good example which is in current scenario. In Marathwada region, there is a flood-like situation, but even though it is only in Maharashtra, different state is taking initiative to help them. Why? Because of the fraternity. So this is very current scenario example I'm giving you. So what happens when we have all three things? We are united, that too peacefully, and also we are progressive in nature. So that is what we want, right? And what if any of the either is not present? What happens? If suppose if I take example, if there's not an equality, then definitely the power will be only in few people. ओके तो कुछ लोगों के पास ही पावर होगा, और अगर सिर्फ कुछ लोगों के पास पावर होगा, द मोनार्की या फिर डिक्टेटरशिप वी कॉल इट, तो डिक्टेटरशिप लाइक सिचुएशन विल हैपन एंड देयरफॉर अदर्स आर सप्रेस्ड. अगर सिर्फ लिबर्टी होगा, फ्रैटर्निटी होगा, लेकिन आपके पास कोई इक्वालिटी नहीं है, आप वोटिंग राइट नहीं कर सकते हो, आपके पास गवर्नमेंट ऑफिसेस के लिए जो आप प्रिपेयर कर रहे हो, सिर्फ अगर कोई पर्टिकुलर क्लासेस के लिए ही बोला गया कि आप फॉर्म भर सकते हो, तो डेफिनेटली दिस इज नॉट गोइंग टू हेल्प अस. एंड वी नीड all these three things, that is liberty, equality and fraternity. Now what these three things or words suggest? Liberty tells us about the voice, or you are able to raise voice for the things which you are not comfortable, or maybe for policies, bills and acts. When we talk about equality, it gives you equal rights, okay? And fraternity is about the integrity between each other. And if we don't have any of this or either of this, then there will be a violence and even collapse of democracy. Okay. So here is the basic philosophy of Dr. Baba Saheb Ambedkar. So the jurist member, he said, N.E. Palkhiwala called the preamble as the identity card of the constitution. Now again, when we talk about UPSC theme line, UPSC directly asks, who is N.E. Palkhiwala? This must be the question. Or maybe UPSC can also ask that who quoted the sentence, that identity card of the constitution. So for that I have prepared a chart. We'll go further and see. So American Constitution was the first to begin with the preamble. Yes, of course, we have taken the idea of development of preamble from the American Constitution. Okay. Then what preamble talks about? It talks about the essence and spirit of the constitution. Next thing is, there are key ingredients. Now people usually get confused when we talk about the key ingredients. The source is we the people of India, and not any other country ki people, ya fir not parliament, not president, not PM or CM. It's the we the people of India, because constitution is meant and also people who are farmers. The farmers who are making the constitution had kept in mind that what all things we have suffered, what all things we have to take into consideration, so that it will be easy for generations and generation to sustain. Okay, so it actually talks about the sustainability. When we talk about objectives, now there are 4 objectives: justice, liberty, equality and fraternity. When we say justice, it is from Russian Revolution. So how to remember that justice is from Russian Revolution or from French Revolution? The best trick is JR. You can at least remember JR or junior in such a way. This is just a memory tip I have given you, because if UPSC or any other examination ask you that liberty, fraternity and equality are from which resolution or revolution, then you should be able to tell them it is from French Revolution. Okay, now again year also becomes important, so do comment me and tell what are the years for Russian Revolution and also for French Revolution. Talking about the nature: sovereign, socialist, secular, democratic and republic. When we talk about sovereign, it means India is not dependent on any other country to take its decision, internally as well as for external affairs. When we talk about the socialist, so even before adding this word, we were socialist in terms of DPSP. What DPSP says, there are few articles, for example, Article 38, 39, 39A, 41, 42, 43, 47. There are few articles in DPSP are somewhere separated or mentioned in the term as socialist. Okay. Then there is a word secular. So even before adding the word socialist from 42nd Constitution Amendment Act, we are actually leaving the word socialist. Okay. So being the secular, it means, again, even this was added later on 42nd Amendment Constitution. So even before adding this, we were actually living through the fundamental right from Article 25 to 28. Okay. Now these articles are different. We will learn them in different chapters. Now date of adaptation. Date of adaptation is different. Republic date is different. What is our Republic date? It is 26 January 1950. But the date of adaptation is itself 26 November 1949. Okay. So these things you will have to remember, because what if they ask what is objective and what is nature? So these terms, these words become important to make you understand things. So if we go word by word, when we talk about sovereign, as I told you before, that India is not dependent or dominion of any other country. Yes, obviously, do we ask any other country while taking any kind of decisions, whether it is internally or maybe externally? No, definitely not. Why? Because we are sovereign in nature. And preamble is what it talks about, what India stands for, what India is actually living in a state or living in a status which we are actually behaving, we are performing in terms of gender equality, in terms of fundamental rights, and etc. When we talk about socialist, again, it was added from 42nd Amendment Act 1976. Do remember this year, because this is also known as our mini constitution, so that you will have to remember. Explicit in DPSP, again, which articles I told you? Article 38, 39, 41, 42 and 43, 47, etc. Indian socialism is about democratic socialism and not communistic. Okay, anyone who can tell me in the comment that what is democratic socialism? If I could just see. Okay, so it is about, when we talk about democratic socialism, it tells us about that we are in such a state that we choose our representative. Okay, we are there are two types of democratic situation, direct and indirect. When we talk about direct, it belongs to the Switzerland. Okay, they have direct access, that people have direct access to remove any of the member of parliament, to elect any of the member, to vote on special discussion. So these are direct elections. We have indirect elections. It means we choose our representative, right? We choose our representative, that is MLA, which represents in Lok Sabha, and therefore it is also a direct election, but again we choose it indirectly. Who? To the president. Okay, now that president once get elected indirectly becomes the republic status. Okay, so that is what democratic socialism is, which aims to end poverty, ignorance, disease, inequality of opportunity. Of course, when we talk about social status, majorly it is again linked with the equality. When we talk about the secular, as I said, it is already mentioned in Article 25 to 28. Now our preamble or the constitution republic date is from 26 January 1950. Okay, but what secular word was added from 1976, but before that also in our constitution we have this freedom of religion. Secular means there is a equal respect and support for all religions. Okay, So do not get confused in all three yes related terms, that is sovereign, socialist and secular. Now democratic, as I said, there is a direct and indirect. India have representative parliament, and again when we talk about indirect, that is representative democracy, there are two types, republic and monarchy. Monarchy as in the hereditary system, or the one जैसे हम लोग कहते हैं राजा का बेटा राजा ही बनेगा kind of situation, but we have republic in nature, that is we have representatives and therefore we don't have hereditary system, we elect the president of India. So when we talk about democracy, it is about manifestations, universal adult franchise. What is universal adult franchise? That is the elections we do. Rule of law, periodic election, independent judiciary system. In republican nature, it means no privileged class. That means there is no any other privileged class. Even we categorize classes into upper class, upper middle class and etc. But that is for another terms. We want to know economic status for the development of the people and not for the criticism or for the discrimination of the people. Therefore, to get them equal opportunity for all citizens. That is what our republic in nature we are. When we talk about justice, there are three types: social, economic and political. Definitely when we talk about social, it means you need social acceptance irrespective of gender, irrespective of caste, irrespective of race, right? When we talk about economy, even though your economy status is not good, but still you should get that dignity, respect and integrity. Political, it means you have fair chance to take part in political rights or take part to represent any party. So you do have that political right, and no discrimination on the basis of caste, color, religion and gender. Economic justice, as I said, inequality in wealth and income, there should not be any kind of discrimination. Political justice, that is equal political rights and access to office. Liberty, okay, now what liberty we actually talked about, there is absence of restraint plus opportunity for development. So everything we are talking about is the developmental situation. Liberty is not absolute, but definitely qualified and limited by the constitution. Okay, now there is a difference between liberty and freedom. You don't have freedom to do everything, but you have liberty with some restrictions. Whatever you think in mind, you actually can do it. No, you can't do it, right? So there are few restrictions, and therefore we have too many criminal actions or acts made upon it, because liberty is not something you can do everything. So therefore it is not absolute but qualified, okay, and limited by the constitution. And again, inspired by the French Revolution, you can thought, you can express it, you can believe, you can faith and you can worship, right? Equality. When we talk about equality, there is no special privileges for any special classes, and therefore talks about equal opportunity. Now we have this articles for equality, where the major one is abolition of untouchability. मतलब अछूत और अछूत की जो बात करते थे, it was very common in back days, it was very common, but Dr. Baba Sahib Ambedkar knew, and he itself was belonging through so backward class. At that time it was considered under backward class, and therefore he don't wanted us to remain in same situation. No discrimination in public employment, no discrimination. See, now article 15 and 16 there is little bit of changes, but otherwise this both articles are almost same. It talks about no discrimination. I mean, article 15 talks about no discrimination, but on the basis of social terms, okay? It means if you enter in any hotel or any garden or any governmental park, it means you have equal right. No one can discriminate them. But when we talk about article 16, it also suggests no discrimination but in public employment, okay? We talk about public employment for article 16. So that is the only difference between article 15 and 16, but otherwise it is almost the same. Article 14 talks about equality before law. Now, all these articles we are going to learn in fundamental rights. We are only going to revise it in such a way that it will help you in SSC, CGL, UPSC or any other state PCS exams. When we talk about word fraternity, that is bhaichara, brotherhood, a national unity. We need unity. See, if there's no unity, there's no use of diversification of our culture, traditions. We should respect that, we should nourish it, but not on the cause of national unity, right? We should definitely cherish it, nourish it, and promoted by single citizenship and fundamental duties, article 51A. तो फंडामेंटल ड्यूटीज ही क्यों है? बिकॉज देर आर फ्यू ड्यूटीज विच सिटीजन शुड डू. ओके. K.M. Munshi, that is dignity of the individual, signifies that the personality of every individual is sacred. Definitely, every individual is important. Every individual is playing some part of his role to develop the nation. So, if there is no integrity, no dignity, nothing like that, then definitely our India or our nation is not going to develop in such a way. And therefore, we have few duties to follow. Okay, now if you see, there's a some previous year questions. The one thing I want you to look here is the word liberty. Okay, again if you will see here, it is liberty. This again question is majorly on liberty. This is the question which talks about liberty. Okay, we'll solve this PYQs. Again, you will have these answers, but we will solve unexpected questions or some same kind of questions on the basis of UPSC pattern. But what you can also observe is it is one-liner. So whatever questions UPSC have asked till the date is one-liner, right, on the preamble chapter. So this is the one thing you will have to remember कि preamble में अभी तक सिर्फ वन लाइनर क्वेश्चंस पूछे गए. सी preamble itself is not a very big chapter. It is big in terms of understanding because यहीं से आपका बेसिक स्ट्रक्चर शुरू होता है, अमेंडमेंट शुरू होता है. देयर आर फ्यू केसेस वी आर गोइंग टू लर्न, बट बिफोर दैट आई वांट यू टू अंडरस्टैंड दिस. ओके, सो ये कुछ क्वेश्चंस है ऑन दी वन लाइनर एनालिसिस. अगेन हियर आई वाज टॉकिंग अबाउट दी some Supreme Court cases or any judgments which are passed. Okay, yes. First is your Berubari case. Now years are important. No matter how you try, but you forget these dates, but you will have to write it or any other thing. You can do it from your side, but you will have to remember the dates. So first is your Berubari. So I have arranged in a sequence so that you will not get confused. So first one is our Berubari case. So allowed preamble to use for understanding intent and spirit of constitution makers. Exactly, preamble is what our constitution is. Exactly, it is the index page that we all know. Every book has its index page, and therefore preamble also stands as an index page for our constitution in simpler terms. Therefore, Supreme Court hand in preamble is not part of the constitution, right? When we talk about Keshwanand Bharti case, what it suggests? First, it has told that not part of the constitution, Berubari case, and now here they are telling it is part, but definitely cannot be amended or cannot be amended its core principles, that it cannot be altered. Now, what are the core principles? It is your justice, liberty, equality, fraternity. These are all your objectives. Okay, and also nature, that is sovereign, socialist, secular, democratic, republic. So this is your basic structure. Actually, what preambles talks about, and therefore it cannot be altered. So Keshwanand said you cannot alter the basic structure. Now, when we talk about 42nd Constitution Amendment Act, this added 3 words, that is socialist, secular, and integrity. It strengthened India's identity as sovereign, socialist, secular, democratic, and republic, right? Because this made the constitution even more powerful, because India actually living all these words. So we don't just add words, we have actually lived it. Again, When we talk about new economy policy, that is LPG reforms. Now this is very important for your economic terms, for your 5-year plan. Okay, when we added, in which plan it was added, LPG and etc. After that, when we added LPG or न्यू इकोनॉमिक रिफॉर्म, आवर जो स्टेटस था अपना इंडिया का, दैट इज सोशलिस्ट, बिकेम टू मिक्स्ड. ओके, मिक्स्ड इकोनॉमी में अपना चला गया था बिकॉज ऑफ LPG सिस्टम. Again, then when we talk about LIC India case in 1995, Supreme Court reaffirmed preamble is integral part of the constitution. So till now, it is the only Berubari case who says that preamble is not the integral part of the constitution. But Keshwanand Bharati case, which is very identified judgment case, we can say, so that told yes, it is part and you can even amend it, but keeping in mind the basic structure, right? Emphasize preamble expresses philosophy and vision of entire constitutional framework. Yes, definitely. Then in Avdi session of Indian National Congress, what does they say? Established a socialist pattern of society. Yes, definitely, by the word socialist, because that's what we added. Now this is the key terms, or maybe you can call it the basic insight for examination, where you can see obviously it is based on objective resolution. Now by whom it was given? By Jawaharlal Nehru. Justice from French Revolution. Liberty, equality, fraternity from French Revolution. 42nd Amendment Act is the only once amended. Okay, now once amended, what once amended is your preamble. So preamble is once amended, and these 3 words were added. Okay, preamble can be amended again by which article? Article 368, and but basic features cannot be altered. What preamble talks about? It is the soul, key, identity card and guiding spirit of the constitution. I have already told you this. So this is the chart I was talking about. There is not only name, not only statement, but also the role. What if UPSC asks you that N.A. Palkiwala, who gave this statement, who was he? That does he was a jurist member or maybe a assembly member? So you will have to remember, because so far, so now, UPSC has not asked this type of questions. So there are chances that this questions may be quoted. So definitely you will have to understand this. When we talk about Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru, he was PM at that time, who gave objective resolution on which our preamble is based. When we talk about KM Munshi, he is drafting committee member who says horoscope of our sovereign democratic republic. Okay. Thakur Das Bhargava, what he says, that soul of the constitution, that preamble is the soul of the constitution. And who was he? He was the constituent assembly member. When we talk about Krishna Swami Iyer, he is assembly member and says expresses what we had dreamt so long. Exactly, constitution always talks about our rights. It actually guided us for our participation, maybe in votes, maybe for policies, maybe for bills, etc. And therefore they said expresses what we have dreamt so long. Sir Ernest Barker, he was English political scientist, and he said it preamble is keynote to the constitution. M. Hidayatullah, he was former CGI, he says resembles. Now what resembles? Preamble resembles US Declaration of Independence. Dr. Baba Sahib Ambedkar linked political, social and economic democracy. Okay. And Supreme Court also says that egalitarian social order of Bharat Republic. Now this is your some based expected questions. We will always solve this live, and also you will get this in PDF of Ekagraa Academy's Telegram channel. So now if you are looking at this, and if you have understood the words, see, they have asked only one line of questions. Okay, now it is our duty to make in such a way or in a statement based, because nowadays UPSC is changing its pattern very frequently. So from last 2 years, if we notice, statement based questions are even more and frequently. So let us solve this. Sovereignty means India is internally supreme and externally independent. Yes, definitely. So this is right. We will also do elimination technique. It implies that no external power can dictate India's internal or external policy. Yes, definitely. In India, sovereignty lies with the parliament. Now, at very initial slides, I told you that sovereignty lies in the people. The source we actually talk about is we the people of India, and therefore this becomes your wrong. So if we eliminate, only the answer we get is A, right? Again, next question. Which statement best explains the nature of the preamble after the Keshwanand Bharti 1973 judgment? So if I give you a time, you can even look after it. Okay. Yes. So for this, I gave you a few seconds. So answer will be the preamble is a part of the constitution and can be used to interpret its provision. But again, what you have to keep in mind that you cannot alter the core preamble concepts, right? Again, now we have questions on only liberty, right? We don't have questions on fraternity, justice. We have already put into it. You can see further. It talks about objective resolution. Now, what was the objective resolution? Your justice, liberty, equality, and your fraternity, right? So, it means everything, all of the above, okay? Next, it is talking about justice as mentioned in the preamble. So, yeah. We'll start from the first statement. The concept of justice is social, economic, political. Yes. Has been borrowed from Russian revolution. Yes, definitely. Why? The memory tip I gave you, JR, that is junior. You can remember in such a way. So yes, this is right. Political justice ensures equality of opportunity in political participation. Yes, definitely. That is why we need political justice. Economic justice means equal distribution of wealth and elimination of economic inequalities. Yes, definitely. And that is why we need economic justice as well, because we don't want to discriminate anyone on their social status or economic or finance status. So all of these statements are correct. So your answer becomes C. Next is your economic justice in the preamble primarily aims to. Now, what economic justice says? Okay, balance between fundamental rights and fundamental duties, freedom to earn unlimited income through trade. Definitely not. It will never say that unlimited in income, because we are mixed economist. We don't stand for capitalism or maybe for capitalist economy. We are mixed economist. So definitely removal of economic inequality and unemployment. So B is your answer. The term socialist in the preamble emphasis. Now it is very easy to tell that equal distribution of wealth and reduction of economic inequalities, or maybe religious neutral of the state, elimination of private property, state ownership of the industries. What do you think? I want you to answer this in the comment section, because this is very easy. You can solve it. Now talking about the fraternity. See, only liberty has been quoted so far. So we are also making sure that fraternity or justice like terms are also asked for you to be mentioned in these such questions, because that will make you confident. Now, not exactly UPSC is going to ask these questions, but at least you are mentally prepared. So this will help you in your preparation as well. So fraternity ensures the dignity of the individual and unity and integrity of the nation. Yes, that is what we learned, and this statement is right. The term fraternity was inspired by the ideals of French Revolution. Now, if JR, that is junior, that is justice, is from Russian Revolution, then equality, fraternity, and liberty is from French Revolution, then this is also right. Fraternity promotes both emotional, territorial unity among citizens. Yes, definitely. So your answer is D. So here we come to an end. So thank you so much for being here, and do follow us on our live sessions. Do like, share and subscribe. Thank you so much.